What's up, guys? Steven here. Today was another great day. Um, Took down one of two tests. Had my intro to engineering test. I did fucking awesome. And then at the end, it was really cool. There was this open-ended question. It was essentially kind of going implementing the stuff that we had learned. So we had previously talked about the design cycle, and I actually, and the question was talk about something that you essentially analyzed in the last month, right? And it's so funny they mention that because I've been thinking a lot about the PS3, you know, um, especially with this issue of Red Ring of Death, because that's been one of my major fears. I actually used to have an old PS3 that I bought a while back. It was the older model. So there's an older model PS3 and newer model. And that older one came down with the Red Ring of Death, right? So I'd researched it and all this stuff. And um, I actually opened up that PS3, right? But then I kind of gave up on it. Meaning, you know how sometimes another thing that really fucking pisses me off with a lot of devices nowadays, where like you come to a point where it almost seems like you need a particular screwdriver to get that part off. Then if you don't, you might actually chip off the fucking screw and not be able to take it out. But anyways, I think that's what had happened. I had just gotten to a point like that and I couldn't screw it out, so I just gave up and then I just left it disassembled. I mean, it's actually still there. I I think all the parts I need to put it back are there, so be something fun to do one of these days. Just put it back together. But more specifically, with I guess a new awareness, new understanding, I guess new wisdom to what life is all about, which is it's all about energy slash breath of life, right? Meaning everything flows and everything breathes. Literally everything breathes. Because human beings, whether we're conscious of this or not, everything that we create is infused with our soul. It's infused with this breath of life, which is a property that we operate from that enables us to live and breathe. So it's a funny way of thinking about it, but everything has a soul, which is why sometimes you might be operating a piece of tech or something, and then it's not doing what you want, and then you literally say something like you're literally talking to it, and then it works better, right? It's so funny, this idea of personification. Like, people think it's just a literary device, but I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. But so, anyways, my thesis was, or not my thesis, my conclusion. I came to the conclusion that the reason why the PlayStation is plagued with, so commonly plagued with issues of Red Ring of Death, performance malfunction, softwares, hardware failures, etc., is because of the lack of circulation or the small ventilation slits in the back. So how I explained it, and the answer was everything needs to breathe, right? If I don't get oxygen to my brain, what will happen? Slowly but surely, I'm gonna turn blue, right? And I'm gonna die. Meaning, what actually happens is one cell dies, right? And then slowly shrinks up, shrivels, and then another one dies, right? And then another cell dies, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And then before you know it, I die. Like a whole arm is gone right there. Whole arm's lost. And then that slowly just spreads. Death spreads in the body, right? And that is the same thing that happens with tech, meaning how that occurs for them So me, I'd you'd block my breathing mechanism, my breathing pathways, which is my nose, my mouth, and select parts of my body. This part, mind, um, yabs, and like nerve endings or particular parts that you actually breathe through that people don't realize. But it's very, very minute, but it's still there, right? But now for tech, the only way they can breathe is through those ventilation slits, right? Those holes. And the sad part is they're not being catered enough, meaning they're not big enough. So a very minute piece of dust that covers it up will literally block it off. And so now what happens? Their death process begins, right? So first of all, it will because it's not circulating, all of a sudden death occurs. So now a little dust, more dust, even more dust. Now more dust settles on a part, right, or a circuit part that's probably critical to its operational vitality to keep it running, right, to keep it going. Maybe it's the logic, the part that handles the logic, or the part that handles the power management, right? The funny thing you'll understand is the way that most of these tech devices are made, everything is literally reliant on each other. So if one part fails, because it's tied into the operation of another part, that part will fail, which is tied into the operation of the other, that will fail, and so on. And so what happens? PS3 can't turn on, rendering a death, right? And on top of that, because it can't breathe, corrosion takes place. That's where it comes from being unable to breathe. So the game-changing design for PlayStation and for any console out there, if they're paying attention, is to actually um, cater or put more attention on that apparatus breathing system, right? Um, Making the ventilation slits much bigger. Maybe even introducing a design that's like way open, and like the the circuit, maybe the part like the motherboard, whatever, is blocked off by like a little maybe filament, kind of like I'm thinking of it's like it's like it looks like this, it looks like that. Where do you see that usually? Oh, like you know those what's the word? It's like it's round and has a little metal thing, and you hold it like this. It's when you're cooking, like when you're making pasta, and you're trying to keep the pasta, and then separate the water out. That kind of sheet. That's literally one simple way of making sure that it can breathe while still being open, right? Because it's all about open. It's all about breath. And if they're having, if they have such small of a breathing pathway, how can you expect them to not fail on you when it's taken away? Especially when you think about the fact that most consoles stay in one place, so they easily gather up dust from the environment. Maybe someone is like doing, what do you call it when you run the carpet, vacuuming. They vacuum all over, kicking up dust everywhere, and then no one bothers to maybe take an air horn and like give remove the dust from the PlayStation. So that's actually how I come to realize that's how you would fix those issues. If you have a red ring or whatever, just take apart your console to the level where you feel like you're most comfortable, but try to go as deep as possible, because most likely the dust is just it's at maybe at a deeper layer, right? And then just take like what do you call those? Uh, Air a gun. I don't know. And just go remove all the dust. I don't know if applying WD-40 has like a lubricant to just kind of help with power distribution and all that might help. That I'm not sure of, but I know for a fact that if you can remove the dust, if you can essentially help it breathe, it will be a game changer. It really will. So that was really cool, and I was actually kind of humbled and appreciative. It was kind of one of those, what is your input? What have you been thinking about? And it was really uh, unexpected. So I thought that was really cool. So that happened, and then came back and napped for a bit. Then I went to play soccer. I went to the gym and I got shoulders in. And I got it recorded. Yes. And then on top of that, I managed to get in the fucking agility the soccer conditioning uh, agility / energy stuff that I did at the end of all of my workouts. It's really awesome because originally it wasn't even on there. So I honestly believe this restoration is actually going to make it, it's like upgrading because I'm just going to put even more value than I originally had. So that was cool. And then I took that opportunity to film yesterday, so chest and backs and of the workout stuff. So that was really awesome. Then I came back and just kind of took care of some looking at because I have another test tomorrow. I think I'm gonna try to take it tomorrow or Saturday for programming, and because I freaked out and kind of mentioned it on Blackboard. My instructor was actually really cool, and he added more review questions. He's like a really cool dude in that regards. At the same time, it sounds like he's kind of busy. Like he has a lot of classes to manage. So I hope everything's going well for him. And then I also really like my engineering teacher. She's a really nice lady. Very pretty too. And then so after that, oh yeah, so I've a hack, or not a hack, but something that I discovered, and I'm actually going to talk in depth more about this when I redo the cultivating your business ecosystem. But yeah, something that I really, really, really coming to see is this idea of everything being conscious, right? Space itself is conscious, right? Like, and it sounds kind of crazy to think about, like, what my bed is conscious, but just think about it and actually just in your mind accept the idea and see the ramifications that it has. You will be mind blown. Your life will literally change. But what I wanted to talk to you about specifically is how that predicates the internet. The internet is conscious itself. It's literally one entity. And so that means that everything within it is connected, right? This is actually something I mentioned in the um, game plan for swag money. I don't know if I ended up reposting it yet or not, or I was laying out everything. I might just go ahead and do it ahead of time and then later on come back updating the links. Haven't figured out which one I should do yet. But that you can tell that everything is connected by the simple fact that, for example, all programming languages can connect and speak to one another, right? PHP can speak with MySQL. Java can speak with HTML. Everything can literally interface and synergize because of this inherent property of the internet, of being a synergistic platform itself, right? Now, what I wanted to go in depth more was talking about how this predicates to your content across different platforms. And something that I've really come to learn to respect is to actually, um, or something I've been doing, actually spent literally an hour just now before doing this, is making sure that any platform that offers you the opportunity to um, place search tags or hashtags or YouTube, what do you call it? Search tags, take advantage of it, but more importantly, make sure that the hashtag, the search tag that you have for that piece of content is the same across all the platforms, right? So if my search tag on YouTube for Ruthless Execution 003, blah, 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 is that, and then Ruthless Execution and all the stuff, I made sure that it's this, that on Instagram, for example, it's the same, right? Now, Twitter, you might not be able to do that because it limits you, but I just picked the ones that I found to be the most relevant, the ones I felt called to put on there the most, and went with that. And then, like, on Instagram, it's going to be the same. And then on Facebook, something that I never actually did it for Facebook. I never use search tags because I just didn't like the fact that when you save, when you put the search tag, it doesn't display. Like once you click save, and then maybe you click edit the video again, you don't see it, right? My conclusion, or my guess, is what it does. It's like a function, right? So when you put in keywords in there, it's yeah, that's the other word, keywords. That's what I meant to say. When you put in keywords, so YouTube keywords. But when you put in keywords in Facebook on the search, when in the bar, that's called, it calls it search tag, but it's actually keywords. What it probably does is it adds or it appends the keywords that you put in for the metadata code of the video, and that's what I wanted to get into, right? Um, a lot of people don't respect enough what people call like crawlers or search engine crawlers or search engine crawler robots, whatever you want to call it. But something you have to realize is it's like uh, digital roads, right? You want roads to be straight, and you want the signpost. It's like if this says to Elm Avenue, you want to directly be going to Elm Avenue. You don't want to be going to fucking John Street or something else, right? And it's the same thing with your content to facilitate their job. Not just, let's not even talk about the endless and massive benefits that you get from helping them by getting way more traffic than you ever even thought was possible, but to just facilitate their job, right? Remember, if you put others first, you will always reap endless benefits and back in return, right? But to facilitate their job, right? Take advantage of this idea of essentially setting the metadata content or the metadata code for your content. And not to get technical, but a short gist of it, it's essentially when the internet first came out, there wasn't that much content out there, right? So when someone put something up, it was probably the content that was most found because it was like out of the whole world, there's only so many content. So it's not a big, the need to essentially um, organize the format or organize the data in a way that is easily searchable. For example, if you write like if you take like 10 names, right? And you just write like you write you don't order them in like alphabetical order. You just take 10 names, you randomly put them, and then to search them, you just make search, blah blah blah. What It's not that big of a deal to just go through 10 names, right? But if it's like a trillion names, going through them like that will take forever, for fucking ever, right? So in that situation, what's best is to make sure that the list is alphabetically ordered first, right? And then now that narrows, it facilitates the job of searching, because now you can say, okay, um, the name starts with L, so I just go all the way down to L through whatever, right? And that cuts out A through L, and that ridiculously saves time. By the way, this is something called binary search in programming. It's actually funny enough something I'm learning right now in data structure. But the idea is, if you're looking for an item, right, and it's not in the top, then what it does is it tries to half things. So it goes, okay, there is like a total of 10,000 things, right? What's the half of 10,000? 5,000. So I'm gonna go to the 5,000th thing. But for me to even use this idea, this concept, everything has to be ordered, right? A through Z, let's say, right? So I'm gonna go to the half point of that, right? And then I'm gonna say, okay, is my thing in the top tier, upper half? If yes, cool. Then I'll go to that, and then I'll I'll find the half point of that as well, and then I'll say, okay, is it in this upper half part or upper lower part? If it's in the upper, then I'll go to it and then either search it or half it again, or and vice versa. If it wasn't in the upper, it would go to the lower half, and then okay, half the lower half. Is it in the upper? And is it in the lower middle part? If not, lower. Does that make sense? So it's like halving, and it's called binary search, right? And then they call sequential searching essentially going through every single thing, one thing at a time. Now, that's obviously, as I mentioned, and probably just really, I think, I'm actually really happy that came out well. Did a good job of illustrating that. Sequential search is cool if you have like a small amount of data to go through. But if you have a whole bunch of shit, then it takes forever, right? And now to go back to the internet, if you have a fuck ton of things, over trillion, 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 trillion plus bytes of data, of content that like we have today, going through everything would take fucking forever. So now introduce the idea of crawlers and robots, who essentially what they do is they go through your shit and they say, okay, this thing is about blah blah blah, right? This thing is about books. This thing is about nature. This thing is about self-development. This thing is about love, right? And so now, instead of being unordered, it's at least ordered in a category. And that's where um, essentially the need to set the metadata yourself is very important, because remember, it just goes through the page, and as much as they're intelligent, sometimes they don't always get the meaning, right? This is why Google fucking realized that people were fucking their shit up, trying to just, oh, I'm just gonna keyword hack, just use the same word, oh, business, 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 throughout my whole page, and rank for that word, right? And so now they're, even if their page isn't even business related, so Google realized that, so okay, I'm gonna make them that much smarter, to where now, even if you like, it has a smarter detection system, meaning it'll go through your shit and it's like, it's pretty much they pretty much updated the robots bullshit-o-meter. That's a great way of putting it, right? But anyways, the robot's job is to just at least organize your shit, to at least put it in a make it to where now, if you think about everything that's in is in the internet, it's in a list, even though the internet looks random. And when you think about that, that's fucking incredible. Like imagine the work and hours and testing and just insane amount of data that whoever did it, God, those developers had to do, had to put in to make that happen, right? So robots, crawlers, they essentially take your content, your website, whatever it is, and they put it in a category to where now it's ordered, right? Now, this strongly shows the reason why you need to do the job of helping that robot by actually telling it what category you want to put your content in. And you do this by creating, you can program the metadata code, right? There's actually a code. Um, Actually, I am going to take my phone and add this part in.
So let's see. Go to. Okay. So. Uh, so it's usually at the top. Now, social media platforms could hide it. But there it is. See it? Meta. And it's like there, um, there's an entire.
To facilitate that part for you, most of the social media platforms have done the work of automating that part for you by allowing you to set your keywords for your content. And so now you understand why the need to make sure that the meta data for that particular piece of content stays the same across, because it's like saying, hey, whether you go to Facebook, whether you go to Instagram, whether you go to Twitter, whether you go to YouTube, if you type in this particular code or you type in these particular keywords, you can find me, you can find him, and it just makes life so much easier. And you have no idea, like they literally think they're like, because you're making their life so much easier. In return, you'll get so much fucking traffic. Like my views and comments, just it's going up so much faster than originally. One, I feel like, yeah, I'm humbled, blessed, and lucky that maybe there's people supporting me, seen and unseen. But at the same time, I feel like on some level, it's like the universe way of saying, hey, what you did there by implementing this, it is really the right thing to do, right? And as I mentioned, when things are properly used, that's when fucking everything is golden. Fucking heaven. Fucking heaven on earth. But when things are not properly used, that's when chaos arises. Right? So, I know it's a lot more work, but if you're about to fucking hustle, you gonna hustle. Yeah, like literally took me an hour. So I was like doing Facebook's, the content on Facebook that I've been putting up, and then the YouTube, and then now I'm gonna re-add, I think add some stuff on Instagram because it's kind of funny. But on my YouTube channel, you're actually able to set keywords automatically for every video, right? Set automatically description and all the keywords. And so because I did that at first, I thought about, just because it's YouTube, so I don't have to worry. But now something was like, do it, just do it, do it. So I was like, I fucking. But yeah, and that's how you create. That's how you create a digital ecosystem, a fucking digital garden. Yeah. Anyways, hope you guys got something out of this, and as always, swag the fuck out.
Super Mario. T.